Hello students, here today I'm going to give you a small introductory lesson of what is n factorial. N factorial's definition is the product of all natural numbers from n going downwards to 1, or you can say from 1 to n. So convention is to write it as n times n minus 1 times n minus 2, and we go on until we hit 3, 2 and 1. An example of this would be if I have to calculate, say, 5 factorial, that would be 5 reduced by 1 times 3 times 2 times 1. 5 times 4 are 20 times 6 is 120. For example, 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's 24. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. That is 6. 2 factorial is 2 times 1, that is 2. 1 factorial is 1. And this one is really important. 0 factorial is also 1. This is by definition. I know sometimes students get confused. 0 factorial should be 0 according to some students. But this is by definition. 0 factorial is always equal to 1. Remember that. For any other number, you can just find factorial easily by calculating this, or for any factorial, you can also use calculator. For, say, for example, we have to calculate 5 factorial, right? You hit math, go right to probability, go to number 4, right? That is where factorial is. Let's quit out from here. So for example, I need to find 5 factorial. So I type 5. Now I go to math, go to probability, and then hit 4. Enter, that's 120. Remember, we just found it in our whiteboard. It was 120. So on the calculator, it's easier to calculate sometimes if you have expression like, say, 5 factorial divided by, say, I have to want 2 factorial. I know this is easy one. I'm just showing you. You can do this for difficult problems using calculator. The answer would be 60. Okay. Now I do want to show you how to do these small simplifications by hand also. So for example, let's say we have 6 factorial by 4 factorial, right? So 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And you see that these all factors can be cancelled, and we are left with 6 times 5, which is 30. Now I want to show you one more way of doing this. 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times, remaining whole thing can be written as 4 factorial. And we are dividing with 4 factorial. So these will cancel and we know the answer is 30. So both of these ways are direct way of calculating with factorials. Let's do another way of kind of problems which you're gonna be handling in series. Let's say I have to find n plus 1 factorial by n factorial. Now when I expand, I don't know n, but I know I have to write n plus 1 times 1 less, which is n, times n minus 1, and so on till 1, divided by n factorial. Now you guys notice this much is n factorial, right? So this can also be written as n plus 1 times n factorial divided by n factorial. N factorial will be cancelled. The answer would be just n plus 1. Let's try one more. Let's say we have n divided by n minus 2 factorial. So if you expand n factorial, that would be n times n minus 1. The remaining is n minus 2 times n minus 3, and so on until 1. And that is n minus 2 factorial. So I can just write n minus 2 factorial here, divided by n minus 2 factorial. And these two will cancel. The answer would be n times n minus 1.